computing. What is a cloud computing? See, cloud is a computing resource which is there somewhere remotely, and that particular remote computing resources we can use using the internet. Okay, computing resource, what do you mean by computing resources? Computing resources means, as I told you, cloud has two functionality. Computing resource will do that, will also do the same thing. It will store the data and it will process the data. So the same thing will be done by the cloud also. It has only two use: store the data and process the data. Now here if you see the cloud computing. So let me tell you an interesting example which generally I used to share with my student. Like if we'll talk about early 80s, where when this computer uh, came into the existence. On that particular era of 70s and 80s, the computer size were very large. So computer is of, let's say, the size of a room. Okay, and so obviously every people cannot afford that computing device. So if, let's say, I want to use any computing device or any computer at that particular time, let's say 70 in 70s 80s, so what I have to do, I have to reach to the company where that particular, or the lab, or the educational institute where I can find these computing devices, and I'll just request the in charge, I want to use it, so he will give me a slot so that I can go their lab and I can use it, right? Now slowly when this personal PC concept came into the picture, so everybody has their computer resources, everybody has their computing system on their desktop, right? And with their hands. So they doesn't have to go to these institute for the computing purposes. Now slowly when the concept of big data came, the concept of digitalization came, the concept of this data science came into the picture, where the data generated by any firm or any particular group of technological firm has been increased. Let's say if we talk about mobile data, so nowadays, if, let's say, if you are using an Apple mobile phone, and this Apple mobile phone is generating a lot of data. One mobile phone is generating around you can say 100 GB of data every month. So do we have the memory to store all those data? So what we do is we generally send these data to the cloud. Let's say the iCloud or MI Cloud if you have an iPhone, or Samsung Cloud. So these mobile service provider also give you some cloud storage where you can store your data. Now, if we talk about many companies, let's say if we talk about any telecommunication company, how much data it is generating every day, every minute, every second, it is humongous. So nowadays, if I want to make a farm and I want to store all my farm data locally and process it, I need to invest a lot of money for the servers and all, right? So what I have to do, I have to buy the server, I have to invest the initial money, which is very high, and at the meantime, I need to increase the resources in terms of hardware and softwares whenever it is required. So the data which is generated every day in the internet is very high, and we cannot do the storage and the processing in the PC or in the simple servers that we'll use in the lab or or will use in the institute, or will use in the company. So we need the concept of 1780s now. So companies which are providing us the hardware facilities, they are providing us in the name of cloud. So what is cloud? Cloud is nothing but some computing resources provided by some cloud service provider, which is open to the people who want to use it. And why people are using cloud? People are using cloud because they doesn't have enough memory to store their data locally, as well as they doesn't have enough processing power to process those data. So we use cloud. Now what is cloud? Cloud is, as I told you, I'm repeating again and again so that you can understand what is it. Cloud is nothing but a computing resources remotely, and I am using these cloud through internet. So if the resource is somewhere remotely, so definitely someone is providing those resources. Yes, someone is providing those resources. Like we have many companies: Amazon, Google, Microsoft, IBM, Salesforce. Now you can see Dell EMC. All these companies are providing us cloud computing facilities. Apart from that, if you want to go in your daily life, you have cloud, like you have mails, right, where you can put your data. You have drives, many type of Google, like Google Drive. You have many type of these facility where you can put the data of your important data, or your data that you don't want to miss, you can put over there, so that it will be there in the cloud safely, right? That is the advantage of this cloud facility, and that's why it is nowadays very popular. So you see, from the 1780s, the concept of borrowing the computing is there in 2020 or maybe onwards, the same phenomena of borrowing the computing power. Okay, so that in that way we can relate, like this computing, cloud computing concept was previously there, but we have different name over there. We are just borrowing the computing facility for some period of time. Now come to this cloud computing. What is it? So the cloud computing is the delivery of on-demand computing service over the internet on a pay-as-you-go basis. It is not free, let me remind you. Some facilities are free in the cloud, but some facilities are not free in the cloud. Let's say if we'll talk about Gmail account, so you have 15 GB of memory, and if you want to use beyond that, no, you have to purchase it. If you want to go to other facility of cloud, then you have to purchase it. If you want to increase the size, let's say if you want to increase the size of your iCloud, it means the Apple cloud, so you have to pay for that, right? So cloud computing is nothing but on-demand computing services. Means in your demand, they will provide you computing services. And if I'll say computing services has two parts. One is the storage, another is computing or the processing of those data. So and over the internet. So without internet, yeah, we cannot connect to the cloud, and it is not at all possible. Let's see this example. Means previously we are using all these devices, right? Means we might use the flash drive, we might use the external hard drive or some CD drive to put our valuable data. And now, not what we are doing. We are not using all these devices. Instead, we'll use cloud. We'll use our, let's say, the Google Drive account. In my Google Drive account, I have 15 GB, so I can use it, right? If it is an important thing. I have many other these type of services, I can use it. So cloud facilities are there, and many people are using it. It is not like it needed. That's why this concept came. No, that concept came, and need grows with this particular concept, and many companies are seeing that they have many advantages on involving in this cloud computing mm, market. So they have jumped up, and they have jumped up with uh, many things. So we'll go slowly into that so that we can understand the full concepts. Let's go to the actual definition of cloud computing given by NIST, National Institute of Standards and Technology, USA. They have given a definition. And what is the definition? I am just highlighting those definitions which we have. Okay. So the definition says that cloud computing is a model for enabling ubiquitous, convenient, on-demand network access to share pool of configured computing resources, that is network, servers, storage, application and services that can rapidly provisioned and released with minimal management effort or service provider interaction. Now, what is the meaning of that? The meaning, it says that cloud computing is a mode of enabling ubiquitous, convenient, means different type of computing device you can use for connection. It is a convenient way as well as on-demand way, but you should use network access. And with the network access, you can actually share the pool of configured computing resources. So if I take an example of, let's say, Amazon Web Services, so you just assume that Amazon has servers. Servers means they have this very large server, okay? And in this very large server, they have computing, they have processing, enormous number of computing and processing power. Now, it is connected with the network, with the internet, and they will give you dash box. You log in into the dash box, and you can actually see what is happening. That is called orchestration. You can actually create your virtual machine inside their machine. Okay, so there is a server, as I told you, and having uh, infinite number of resources, infinite resources of computing and storage. You just log into AWS account, and what you can do, you can create a virtual machine. We all know what is virtual machine is. That if I want to virtual machine in my system, means I want to create another operating system. So what I have to do, I have to allocate some memory, RAM. I have to allocate some disk memory, means I have to allocate some storage memory, means let's say the 40 GB or the 20 GB of storage I have to allocate. But in the cloud phenomena, you can able to give the computing resources also, means how many core you require. Let's say you require 16 core of processing power, you can do that. You required 32 core of processing power, you can do that. So all these things are easily done through virtualization, and that process is called orchestration. With the help of that, you can create a virtual machine. Why it is called virtual machine? Because it is virtually somewhere. I don't know the location, I don't know where it is not locally, that's all. So I can use them through the internet, okay? And that facility will be provided by many cloud service providers, and without or the minimal effort given by the service provider. So they will not give the effort. What they will do, they will just create the cloud computing environment in which you can log in and you can do everything. They do not touch anything. They do not give you anything, any access by clicking it. They have done it and you just have to use it. Okay. Now this NIST has defined 5 essential characteristics of cloud computing. The first characteristic is called on-demand self-service, then broad network access, resource pooling, rapid elasticity or expansion, and measured services. So these are five essential characteristics given by NIST. Means if I'll say that I have developed a cloud computing facility, it means I should have all these characteristics. If any of the characteristics doesn't exist, it means I have not created the cloud computing infrastructure. So any cloud computing service provider will provide what they will provide, these cloud computing services with these five characteristics at least. Then there is different services provided by the cloud is called software as a service, platform as a service, and infrastructure as a service. And there are some deployment models. So we have private deployment, community deployment, public deployment, and hybrid deployment. So we have some deployment model, we have some services model, and we have some characteristics related to cloud. So we'll try to cover in time. Otherwise, whatever is left, we'll see tomorrow. So the first thing that we have to understand in the cloud computing is these five characteristics, essential characteristics of cloud computing. So the first characteristics is called on-demand self-service. Now, what is on-demand? What is the meaning of on-demand? So the meaning of on-demand is, if I want to use these computing resources, I can use it from anywhere, and it is not the constant, like if I want to use, let's say, for 4 GB of RAM, if I want to use 80 GB of memory, if I want to use 80 GB of storage, if I want to use 16 core of processor, I can use it. Second thing, it is on-demand self-service. What is the meaning of on-demand and self-service? On-demand means it is available to me 24/7. I can create the virtual machine from anywhere, from any device. It means if I'm using my mobile phone, from the mobile phone I can do that. From the pad I can do it, or a notebook I can do it, or with the help of a laptop I can do it. Second thing, when I want, I should get it. It says self-service. What is the meaning of self-service? It is up to you that how much memory resources and the computing resources really required for your virtual machine, and then you can create it. So it says that it will be on demand. It is according to your demand, and it is a self-service, and this cloud service provider is not going to intervene or not going to ask you that you want this or this, and they will do that behalf of you. No, you have to do it, and you have to create your virtual machines. So it is a facility that is given by that facility should be there with the cloud service provider. The next facility is broad network access. What is the meaning of broad network access? It means like we have different type of networks, right? And with that different type of computing device, so we can use any of the computing device to connect with the cloud and to make the virtual machine. So it should have a good network bandwidth by which many people can the request of many people and the traffic of many people can be accommodated by the cloud computing providers. So broad network access is one good requirement of cloud service provider. So you assume that we are using Gmail services or any of the other services, and it is taking a lot of time to open. It means the bandwidth of this cloud computing infrastructure is very low, so it is of no use, right? So that's why this is coming in under the essential characteristics, which is broad network access. The third characteristic is called resource pooling. So you might heard about carpooling, right? Now, what is carpooling? In the carpooling, we share the car, and if we are going to the same destination, or if you are going towards the same destination. So what we do is we just use the carpooling so that we can we can reduce the cost, right? The same thing is done here in cloud computing. It means if you are thinking of, let's say, 40 GB or 80 GB of uh, virtual machine memory, so do you think that these service provider will give you a separate hard drive of 80 GB or separate hard drive of 40 GB? Or do you think that in a Google Drive uh, um, you have the storage of 15 GB? So do you think they have the 15 GB of separate hard drive? No. So physically, the resources are very big. Let's say 1 TB or 10 TB or 100 TB of hard drive are there, and these 100 TB of hard drive, they will provide you. It doesn't mean that they will provide you these 100 TB or 1 TB. No, they will provide you the portion of it. And in that particular hard drive, there are many other customers' data will be there from these cloud service providers. So cloud service provide you the facility of resource pooling. Resource pooling means there is one resource. Let's say there is one hard drive, which is a 1 TB. So you can use 100 GB. So how many people? Let's say the 10 people or 8 people can use this one drive. The same thing will happen to the processing resources also. So we if we need, let's say, two core processor, so they might doesn't have the processor which has two core. They might have the processor of, let's say, 32 core or let's say 16 core. So from that 16 core, the two core will be given to you. Okay, so that resources also pooled by many customers or many processor or many requests. So resource pooling facility should be there with cloud computing service providers. So I think resource pooling is clear to all of you. Now, the fourth thing is rapid elasticity. This is very good characteristics, and it is very essential characteristics. Let's assume that I have created a virtual machine and I have host my website there. Okay, and some time of a day, I find out that in my website, the number of requests that are coming into my website are more than the resource which is available. So what cloud computing will do? Cloud computing will increase the resource available to you. That is elastic, just like elastic. How elastic will be stretched, and after that it will come up in their normal position. So if you have these resource available with you, and you got a demand of these much of resources, so cloud service provider will provide you these much of resources for a time being. Once the request will be uh, tracked down, so they will reduce it to your normal virtual machine capacity. So you see that cloud computing will do on demand rapid elasticity. It means that elasticity facility of computing will be there. And how they will charge? They will charge you for that resources that you have, means the minimum resources. And whenever you require bigger resources, they will charge you for bigger resources. It's just like your electricity. So you depend upon your usage. So rapid elasticity is based on the request. If you are requesting, or if the request will be generated automatically and more resources are required, so cloud computing provider will give you that facility for the time being, and then they will your resources will be like a previous one. So elasticity is all about that. Now the last one is called measured services. So whatever service I am able to give to my clients should be measured. Should be measured means based on that, because it is a pay per use basis, means whatever you use you have to pay for it, just like your bills, electricity bill or phone bill. So how much you use the electricity, that much of money you have to give. So the measured services is all about that. It means in to the cloud service provider, the services what they are giving to all its customer, they should be able to measure it, and based on that they will create the bill. So let's say if you have allotted 20 GB of memory, 2 GB of RAM, and 2 core of processor. So for that, the 1 month cost is, let's say, $200, and in between you have used some more resources. So in between, if you have used some more resources, so that should be measured by the cloud service provider, and the bill will be generated accordingly and given to you. So that facility will be there. So these are the 5 characteristics, essential characteristics of any cloud computing service provider who want to create the cloud and who want to commercialize itself, or if it doesn't want to commercialize, or making the cloud computing environment. So for them, these 5 characteristics is essential. Okay, so now 2 things are left related to cloud. One is what are the different services model we have related to cloud, and second is what are the deployment model. So we have 2 things, service model and deployment model. Service model consists of software as a service, platform as a service, and infrastructure as a service. And deployment model consists of, we have different type of deployment of a cloud. So we have private cloud deployment, public cloud deployment, community cloud deployment, or hybrid cloud deployment. So tomorrow we'll start with the service models, and after going to the deployment model, and after. Good morning, all of you. Thank you very much for having me in the second day of FDP session in importance of cloud in IoT. So yesterday, what we have done is, if you see this particular diagram, you can understand that yesterday we talked about major components of IoT. And in this regard, we have seen 2 practical things. One, we have seen like how we can make a wireless network. So we can make this wireless sensor network by attaching a sensor with a microcontroller. And this microcontroller we can put to any object. Okay. And that we have seen, and how this sensor is generating data, and how we can see the data through the microcontroller, right? After that, we have seen the concept of gateway. Gateway means how we are connecting to the internet. So we have seen like a microcontroller itself can able to connect to the internet. So is the capability of the gateway. And after connecting itself, it will send the data to the cloud. So yesterday we have seen this part also with one cloud example, that is ThinkSpeak. So in the ThinkSpeak, we have seen how a real-time data can be captured of a sensor, and we can actually visualize the real-time data. So that real-time data we can see from anywhere of the world, right? And with the opening the browser and going to this particular site, we can easily see it. We can make that channel. Yesterday we have made one channel, right? So that channel we can make it public also. So it will be available to public also. So you can do that. If you want to make it public, you can do that. So that part, actually these three part we have done yesterday. About the analytics and all, see, analytics, as I told you, for the analytics, if we have a great amount of data and we want to do the process on the data, so at that time we require this analytics part. And let's say if I am getting the data of a farm field, and I want to get the data of soil moisture sensor, what is the temperature right now, and what is the crop and what is the stage of the crop, and based on that, if I'll take the decision like how many water I have to pour into the field, so that required the analytics. Okay, to just monitor, we doesn't require the analytics. So here what I want to convey is the analytics part can be done with different type of machine learning and AI algorithms that we can do if we have the data. So yesterday I told you how to download the data, and after getting the data, okay, after getting the data, what we can do is we can actually process these data. We'll see the same thing with the another type of cloud, which is called Google Firebase. This particular cloud belongs to Google, and Google has given us for IoT purposes, for IoT setup purposes, and it is called Firebase. It is dedicated for IoT. Like ThinkSpeak is dedicated for IoT. In the same way, this Google Firebase is also dedicated for IoT. So let me show you this. Yesterday we have seen the setup of the microcontroller and the sensor. So we have a microcontroller, this node MCU we have, and we have a sensor. So sensor will sense the data and give this data to the microcontroller. Microcontroller is connected with the cloud. So this will send data to the cloud. Now let's go to the Firebase and let's try to make this possible, that how we can send the data to the cloud from this particular setup. The same setup that we are used for the ThinkSpeak, same setup we'll use for the Firebase also. Okay, so I'll take you to the Firebase. Okay, so this is Google Firebase. What you can do is you can just type Google Firebase here in the Google search, and then you can go to the official site of Google Firebase. And once you click the Google Firebase, Google Firebase required your Gmail credential to open to sign in. So what you can do is you just go to your Gmail account and you can select what Gmail account you want to go in, or you can sign in. Now after that, you just go to the get started part. Now in this particular get started part, once you go, you will get that particular screen. Okay, so in this particular screen, there are some project that has been made. So for you, I would like to make a new project. So I'll just, because for the free for the free project, it is giving you only 3 options. So what I'll do is I'll just remove the project that I have made previously. So need to mute all the buzzers. There is okay, after that I'll delete another one, and I'll tell you how we can do that from the very beginning so that there will be no problem of understanding. So what you have to do, you have to Google search Google Firebase, and then you can log in the Google Firebase with your email account, and then this page will open. Okay, in this page there is a button called create a project. You just click to create a project, and you can give the name of the project. Okay, so what I am doing in this project, I am just reading the data of DHT sensor. So I'll just write DHT read here. Okay, and I'll make it continue. After that, it will ask some options, then we'll again continue. And then it will ask for the creation of the project. So it is not a very difficult task to create a project, just you have to give the name. In the second version, you doesn't have to select anything. In the third version, you just have to select that where you want to deploy your project and in which domain that project will come. So just choose any of the domain that you want. It doesn't affect anything. Now you can make it continue. Then you will see that this project has been made. That is called DHT read project. Okay. Now after that, what you have to do is, after that you have to create a database. Okay, so for that you just go into the develop console. Here you will find the database. Now you'll click into the database. After clicking the database, different type of database options will come up, and all these different, from all these different type of databases, you can go to real-time database, because we need the real-time data to analyze. So we have chosen real-time database. So I'll just click the real-time database and go to the start in test mode. Okay, then enable. Now after that, your database is ready. Okay, you doesn't have to do anything. Now your database is ready and your data will come here. Whatever data you want to put, it will come here. Now for connecting your microcontroller to this particular database, you have to bother about this link. So this is the link. This is https:// read then -ab acb39.firebaseio.com. Okay, so that you just copy this URL, and we have the code. In this code, if you'll see, what we have done is we have taken the dht.h the last time that we have taken, like we need the a support file or the device driver for the device that we are using, that is DHT sensor. Then ESP8266 Wi-Fi version we are taking, and here we are adding Firebase Adreno.h. So this is making the link between your Adreno, Node MCU device to the Firebase. In this, we have an option called Firebase host. Okay, so where you are hosting your Firebase account. So here you have to actually copy paste your URL, and the / you have to delete. From here also, https:// you have to delete. It doesn't require, just require the host name. That's all up to this. Okay, then in the yesterday we have seen the Wi-Fi credential where you want to connect your device. So it's a username and password we are using. Then we are in the setup phase. We are connecting the Wi-Fi. The connection will be done with the Wi-Fi, and after that, uh, what we do is we want to connect the Firebase. So the Firebase will be connected here. After that, come into the loop. In the loop, the same thing is there. If somehow if you break the Wi-Fi, then you can do the connection again. If some problem will come and you at duration of the course, if you uh, disconnected your Wi-Fi, so you can connect it with this particular code. And after that, the DHT reading will be taken, like humidity and temperature, and you will print the humidity and temperature into the screen, as well as you can give the data to the Firebase. So Firebase dot set float. So these are the float value. So we can put this data to the cloud. So what we do is we send the label along with the value. So label along with the value that will send. And after that, after some time, we remove the value so that we can again put the value on the Firebase. So this is how it's done. This is the code. So what I'll do is I'll just connect my device. So right now, if you can see, this setup is ready. So this is the setup that we are going to use here. So this setup is ready right now, and we'll just see the port. Select the port of USB where you want to send or to fetch this particular code, and just upload it. So make sure that your Wi-Fi is on. So I'm just making turn on my Wi-Fi. So it is going on percent by percent. Okay, where my, here is my Chrome. So I'll make it side by side. Yeah. Now it is going to be 100%. Yeah, it is 100% right now. You can see here. After that, it will do the connection. Yeah, connection has been done. Humidity is 54% and temperature is 26%. You can see here, humidity is 54% and temperature is increasing. So it is increasing and decreasing, and you can see the values that is coming here. The humidity is 50, temperature is, yeah, so temperature is changing. So I'll just try to increase the humidity and temperature. So you'll see after some time this effect will come here, and it will show you that how it will increase and decrease. So you see that humidity has been increased to 60 to 67 right now. It will increase further. So this is how your actually data is going to the cloud. Now this part is very simple, and just put the code into the your microcontroller and connect your microcontroller to this database, and you can see how real time we can monitor everything. So you see the temperature, once the temperature is changing, it is putting into the red, otherwise it is putting into the green. So you see the color of the database value, that is, if it is changing, it is giving you different colors. Okay, so this is how we can send our data to another cloud, which is called Firebase. And here we have just set up a real-time database for the Firebase. Okay, so if you see here also, we are getting that same data that we are sending here. So it is 49.29 right now. Now 48.28, let's see. Yeah, 48.28. So you can see that the values are changing, and at the same time you can see this value to the cloud, and you can open this cloud because it is in the cloud, and you can just open it through the internet and the browser. You can just open it, and you can see the real-time data of any type of sensors. Now let's close it, and we'll go to one step further. Okay, so let me tell you where we have to move. So what is next step? Now if you'll see this diagram here, so it shows major components of IoT, right? Major components of IoT. So how much we have covered till now? So as I told you just before, we have seen how we can make a sensor node, how we can make a gateway, how we can connect it to the cloud, and how we can set up the cloud. The analytics actually is required if we have to process those data. So here we are not doing that. Now come to the user interface. Now user interface, what I told you is either it will be in a terms of a site or the browser, just go into the browser and open the site, or it will be your mobile or the Android application. Okay, so now we are going to do another sort of hands-on, in which we see that how we can develop a Android app or Android application. So for that, uh, what uh, what we are going to do, let me tell you first. So the data that we are sending to the cloud of, let's say, the Google Firebase, the same data can we see in our mobile phone. Are you getting it? So let's say the setup is somewhere in my office or somewhere in my lab, and I want to monitor what these data means these sensor data is generating, and whatever the data which is generating by these sensors, I can monitor or not. Okay, so it is just like one thing of the one step of the cloud, that is monitoring. So can we do the monitoring remotely with the help of an Android app? So what we do next is we just open a simple mobile application development site that is called MIT App Inventor. Okay, it is a very simple way of creating the application. So I'll just open it, and then I'll tell you that how we can develop a simple app. So what will be in my application? The application will look like this. We have a screen, our mobile screen, in which we have a label, let's say the humidity, and along with that there is a text box in which the humidity value will come. Then again we have a label of temperature, and along with that another text box will be there in which temperature will. Okay, and these data is changing according to the Firebase value. That's all. And so that will develop. So let's go to the site. So what I am writing here is MIT 2 App Inventor. I am in the MIT App Inventor site. Okay, I'll just click the MIT App Inventor, and this is the home page for MIT App Inventor. Now here I'll just click the create application. Now I'm in the page of the application creation. Okay, so before that it will be asked you to sign in. So for that what you have to do is you just have to sign in using your any of the mail account, and in that particular mail account you just sign in. So here I have signed in with my Gmail account. The same thing you can do. Here I have different projects, so it will not come, it will be blank for you. And then there is a button called start new. Okay, in this particular button we'll click start a new project. Now once we'll click it, here one page will one pop-up will be there. It is asking for project name. Okay, so I'll just write the project name, DHT read. Okay, DHT read. Let's see, do we have this type of, yeah, so DHT read is not there. Okay, now after doing okay, it will go into the next step, which is your development of application. If we'll see this particular window, in this particular window we have four sub windows or four sub platters. Okay, this is one platter in which we have different interfaces like button, images, label, all those things are there. Okay, now this particular part is your view part. Like in, if you'll install the application in your mobile phone, so how it will look like. So this is your screen, actual screen. Okay, now after that, this is the component part. That what are the component that we are putting in the screen, the same component will come here. Okay, and the last part, it is here, is the property part. So in which whatever component will select, the property will come here of the selected component. So this is the introduction, or you can say the initial information about this window where we will do. This particular part is called designer part. If you see here, we have two blocks, designer and blocks. So this part is called designer part. Okay, now in this particular designer part, we have to design. Now the first thing what we do is here, we just put a label in which the application name will be there. So what I'll do, here I have a label. If you can see, this is my label, and just I take it and drop it here. Okay, so this is the label I have dropped. Okay, now if you'll see the label here, this component came. Now click the component, the property will open. All these are the property of these label. Okay, what are those? Background color, font, font italic, what will be the size, height, width, what is the text that you want to put into the particular label, whether it is a left line or whatever it is. So it is all there. Okay, so first of all what we do is, whatever component will put into that particular mobile application screen, all those components should be in a center. So what we do is, we just go to the screen first. Okay, in the screen we have align, we have horizontal align, and we have vertical align. Okay, in this, if we are doing horizontal align, means if we have this align, so it will come from left hand side that we want, and in a vertical align we want all in the center. So you can do that. So you can make it horizontal align, left, center, and right, and this vertical align. So we'll start with the top. And if you want to change the color of the screen, background color of the screen, you can change it. So you just click into the color. Let's say I am changing the color of the screen to blue. So I have done that. So that part you do with the screen. Okay, so you see how your mobile application will look like, where the background color is blue. Now we have to look for the label, and in the label we'll write what application we are writing here. Okay, so just increase the font size to, let's say I am putting here 24, so it will be more larger, and here I can write it down the text, and in the text I'll write down DHT. Let's say we can do DHT real time value. Okay, so that is my text. So that text is coming here, you can see. DHT real-time value. So what I am doing here is I want in this particular application that the DHT value which is in real time will come from this particular Firebase, right? So I have done that. So it looked good, right? It looked good. Now after that, what we have to do? We have to put two things: one label and then one text box, another label, another text box. So we have to put like that. Before that, we need the gap here, a small gap here. So for making that a small gap, we'll put the label again. After putting the label, we'll increase the height of this label. Let's say some percentage of, let's say, yeah, 15% we have done. If you want to do more, we can do that. Why we are doing is that we want a gap in between different component, and this text, I don't want any text here, so I'll remove the text. So one gap came. Okay, after that I can put uh, label and the text box. So for that, what I have to do is I have to go to the layout portion. So here we have different platters. So one is the layout. You just go to the layout and you do the you can do the, let's say, table arrangement, and this table arrangement you can put here. In this table arrangement, we need 2 column and we need 2 rows. That is okay. Yeah, that is very fine. And after that, we can put the component here. So I want to put label. So yeah, one label came, and along with that, I want a text box where my data will come. So that is a text box. So you can see here, lots of components are there. So one of the component is text box. You can drag and drop where you want. So I want the just before, yeah. So it is coming in the good position right now. Now the same thing you can do. So you can change this name. So I want to change it to, let's say, humidity. You change it to humidity. And it has been changed. You want to change the size of it, that you can do. So I have make it a bigger size. Now come to the text box. If you are coming to the text box, it will go for the hint. So I'm not writing any hint here. I'm just removing the hint. After that, yeah, what should be the size? So let's say the size will be 24, right? So that has been done. Now come to the temperature. So again, we'll do drag the label first, and I'll write the name of the label to temperature. So temperature is there. Change the font size to 24. Yeah, I am changing it. Now come to the text box again. This is my text box. Just drag and drop here. Now here also I can change the size. It is, yeah. So now you can see your app is ready, where we have two thing means for one for the humidity, another for the temperature. Okay. Now after that, what you have to do? Now after that, we have to do some type of coding so that these value will come. And before that, we have to add one more component, that is called Firebase connectivity component. Okay. So for that, come to the experimental. In the experimental platter, see here, the experimental pattern, you will get the Firebase database. Okay. You just drag and drop this Firebase database here in the screen. Now what it is saying, it is saying that Firebase DB is an experimental feature which may change in future or break. Packaged apps built with this component may not function into the definite feature. So it is saying that that component is working right now. It might not work after some time. So yeah, so now it is working, so it doesn't have to bother about it. It comes as an invisible component. Here it will not show, but here it is showing as a non-visible component, if you can see at the bottom of your mobile phone. Okay, we'll fill up this particular part. First and the last property, that is project bucket, and Firebase token, we'll just remove it. We'll just use the Firebase URL. And what is the URL? If you can able to find it out, that here we are putting the values, right? So that is the URL we have. So copy this URL to here and just paste it. Just paste it. No need to do anything else. Now this part has been done. Now we'll go to the blocks. Design part has been done. Okay. Now go to the blocks. Now, once you click onto the block, here we have this particular block available. This is how it will be look like. Yeah, designer, we were there, now in the block. Now, what is this designer and what is this block? Now, in this particular block, we actually do coding by using all these block component. Now, other component which are showing here are the part of your component that we have added, right? So what we have done, we have added label 1 where we have written the app name, label 2 for making a width, label 3 where we are putting the humidity, and label 4 where we are putting the temperature. Okay, now come to text box 1 and text box 2. Now when there is text box 1 and text box 2 where we have to put the value, we'll get the value from the cloud and we'll put here into the text box. So for that, you just have to go to the component called Firebase component. So here we have Firebase DB component. Just click once, and after that you will get many component which are available regarding this Firebase. Okay, here you'll see in bigger size. Yeah, so all these are the Firebase related functions. Okay. Now on that, you have to just choose the first function, that is when Firebase DB data change. Okay, that you have to drag and drop into the screen. So here we have drag and dropped. Now what is that? It is saying that when in the Firebase DB any data changes will be done. So what we have to do? Okay, so for that we have to make a logic, and in this logic we'll see how it works. Now you have to go to the logic part. So for that you just click the control. Inside the control you'll get many options. So one of the option that you have to pick here is this one, which is called if then. Okay, this is the component that you have to put it here, if then. Now in the if then, what we want to put a logic is whenever there is a tag in this, which is a humidity tag, it is going to change the value. That value we are catching from the object from the cloud, and we are putting into the application, right? So that logic we have to write. So for that we need the logic here. Logic will be some if, because it is a if condition, we have to put some logic here. If that is, so what we have to put, get tag if that tag is. So for that you just put the variable component, and here we have get. If you drag and drop that get here, and this get will be your tag, not the value. If get tag, if it is equal to humidity, right? So we have to write humidity here. For that you just put the text and take the first one and drag and drop here, and here you write humidity. Make sure that whatever spelling you are writing here as humidity, the same spelling should be here. So this spelling and this spelling should be same, then only it will just map the tag. So what it is saying, if tag is humidity, then we'll look for the value according to the tag. So for that, and where we are going to put that particular value, we are going to put that particular value into the text box. So which text box? The first text box. So go to the first text box, and here we have one option called set text box dot text. Set text box 1 dot text. So find it out where it is. Set text box 1 dot text. Here it is. So drag and drop here. So it is showing set text box 1 dot text 2. So which one we want to change? So for that we want to change to the value of it, right? So again we have to go to get value. Before that we'll just make a logic of joining it. So because we are looking for the text to join, so we'll just go to the text, and we have the second option to join. So we'll put it and put it here. Now what we want to join, we want to join the variable value. So that is, you can change to value. And here what we have to write, we have to write a simple text where we'll write percentage, because your humidity is in the form of percentage. So you just make a space and percentage symbol. Now this logic, what this logic will do, it will just go to the Firebase where you have given the URL, find out the tag called humidity. After finding out the tag called humidity, it will go to the value of it. It will fetch the value and put this value to the text box 1, right? And we have to do the same logic for the text box 2. So for that, what we do is we just select the outer one, and this outer one, and just make a duplicate. So there is a duplicate one, and just we'll put here. Now here what we have done is, you can able to see that we have make the logic for the humidity. Now we'll make the logic for the temperature. Now here we'll write temperature. So here we are writing temperature. So that is a tag. So the tag will be in your program. So this is the program where we are having this. So yeah, the same tag will be there. So there is a same tag, right? Now the value we are taking according to the tab, and we are putting to text box 2. So you just select text box 2 here instead of text box 1. That's all. So this is your logic. Now here we don't need percentage. Here we want degree Celsius. So just make a space, then you can make it degree Celsius. So now your code is over here. If you can able to see, this is your code for taking the data into text box 1 and again taking the data into text box 2. So in the first text box we have humidity. After doing this particular process, you just have to go to designer part. Now come to the designer. Here everything we have done. Now you have to create the APK for that. Then only you can install it in your mobile phone. So just click into the APK. So there is an option called build, and build will have the first option to generate APK QR code. Now what I do is, here a QR code will come. Okay, here one QR code will come. That QR code I'll scan with my QR scanner. So I'll use the QR scanner to scan it. Yes. So if I am making it a full screen, yes, you can also do. If you have a mobile phone with QR scanner, so just scan this, and then it is asking to go to the website. Go to the website. Once you go to the website, it will download the APK file. So what I request all of you is, so whoever is ready with that smartphone and the QR code can do that. Now the APK I am just downloading. Yeah, my APK is successfully downloaded. So if you want, I can show you. So here DHT read APK. Okay, that is downloaded. Now I'll show you the this QR code again, so that you can download also. Yeah, so here you can download that. And meanwhile, I'll just install this particular APK. I'll install it. It will ask whether you want to install from the unknown sources. You say yes, okay. Now, if you see, the application has been already there in my phone, mobile phone. Now I just connect this setup so that you can see the real-time data. Now here it is showing 53% and 29%. The same value is coming in my screen also. See if you can able to see my screen. The same value which is there, it is coming in my mobile phone. So I'll just stop sharing this. Now you can see what is there in the mobile phone. So you can see the data is slowly going to change once the data is changing in the cloud. So I think most of you, if you have installed this particular application in your mobile phone, you can also visualize the real-time humidity and real-time temperature. So this one is very simple example where we can do real-time monitoring. In my humidity is 63% right now, then 59% right now, then 57% right now, then 56. So it is slowly decreasing. Now 55% is the humidity. Right now 54, the temperature is 29 itself. And most of you have installed that. So this is your QR code which is generated. Okay. The same thing you can do here. So see, this is one part. One part means why we use IoT. There are two purposes I told you. The first thing, can we monitor objects or things? Yes, we can monitor it. I can monitor here in my mobile phone real time from anywhere. Second, can we do remote accessing? The second problem is, can we do remote accessing? Because IoT allow you to do remote accessing also. So you can do remote accessing. It is very simple. Why it is very simple? Because with the help of this cloud, if you can take the data from the cloud in your mobile application, so you can give the data to the cloud through your mobile application. Okay, so for that we'll do another simple experiment or another simple hands-on in which you can do the same thing. So I hope most of you have installed the application in your mobile phone. Now let me show you what I want to do. Okay, so let's go to the PPT. In this PPT, if you can able to see, this is the setup. Okay, the same setup I have made here in my home, and you can see here. Just behind me there is a setup. Okay, this is a setup. Here we have the same thing which I have shown you in the screen. What is this? In this particular setup, I have connected, in this particular setup, actually I have connected 4 LEDs. Okay, so let me show you in the PPT here. Yeah. Now here if you'll see this particular photo, this is my node MCU. I have connected 4 LEDs here. These are my 4 LEDs. Okay. And what it signifies, let's say your electrical appliances which you want to connect. So you just take a node MCU, you can connect around around 10 to 14 appliances of your home to the internet, and you can actually, what you can do, you can actually access it. Okay, you can actually access it. Like here I have a setup. This signifies that I have 4 LEDs. You assume that we have 4 appliances which are connected to this microcontroller through a relay. Of course, we need an actuator right now, right? So through the relay it has been connected. Yesterday I have shown you an example which is a relay. So relay is a type of actuator which will get the signal of high and low from the microcontroller, and based on that it will switch on and off any appliances. Okay, now come to the uh, real topic is your how we can do that. Okay, so first thing, once you have seen the setup, now let's go to the program. This is a program which I have written for home automation. Means it is just a visualization of home automation. Here I have these two .h file, that is ESP, that is for microcontroller, and Firebase Arduino for the Firebase connection. After that we need the Firebase host. So I'll just set up the Firebase host for you. We have the Wi-Fi connection and the password. After that we have some pins. So we have D0 to D1 to D1, D2, D3, all these pins are there. Okay, so all these pins are actually what these pins are. We have to connect one appliances to one pin so that we have enabled that. After that we'll do the Wi-Fi connection. We'll just begin the Firebase, and then initial value that we'll put into the Firebase is 0. Means we'll make it off first. After that what we do is we fetch the value from the Firebase, we'll convert it into an integer, and we'll check whether it is a 1 or 0. So for the first appliances we have set the variable as s1. So this s1 is 1 or 0, that will come into the value 1, and it will be find it out whether it is 0 or 1. If it is 1, the LED will glow with this form, with this function, and if it is 0, the LED will will be off. For the same thing we'll do for the second LED. We have given a number for it is S2. If it is 1, it will be high. If it will be 0, it will be low. The same thing we'll do for third LED and the fourth LED. Okay, that's all. So this is your simple program that has been written. Now the second thing which is required is connectivity with the cloud. So let's go to the Firebase cloud. Yeah, this here is my Firebase cloud. Now in this Firebase cloud, I'll create another cloud which is called, I'll do that. So I'll just click on to add project. You have reached to the project limit of your account. You can add Firebase to an existing project or request to increase. Okay, so maybe I have to change the Firebase account. So I'll just go to another Firebase account. Okay, I'll change it to okay. Now I am in another Firebase account. Go to console. Once you go to the console, it will ask you to create a application, a project. Yeah, add project. So I'll just click on to add project. I'll just give the project name. Let's say I want to do LED automation or home automation. So I'll do home auto through. Okay. So I'm just writing the name of it. What is the problem? Okay. The same thing I'm writing here. Home auto. Let's say. Now continue. After continue, another continue, and then select any account. So we have a default account for Firebase. We'll do that and we'll create it. So it will take time to create a project again. After creating the project, we'll just see that we'll create the database, real-time database, and after that we'll go for the application development. Okay, so yeah, it is finishing slowly. Continue. Your project is ready. Right now, go to the database here in the develop site. Now come to the create database. Go for the second option. Start with test mode and enable. After making it enable, this particular URL you have to copy and paste into your program. So we'll just copy this particular URL which is here. So what I'll do is I'll just paste it here in the post option. Yeah, paste has been done. After that, what I'll do, I'll just save it and I'll go for the now I'll go for the application development. So this application has already been done. So what we do is we'll go for my project and here we'll go for another create project, start a new project. Now here I'll write home automation. So one project has been created here. Yeah, so now your screen is coming. Now we can do the same process. Now here what we want here. So here we want a very simple thing. If you'll see or we visualize that what we do here is, first of all, we need buttons here. Okay, how many buttons we require? So one button is for on and one button is for off. So we have 4 appliances. So we need 8 buttons. Okay, so we'll put the 8 button one by one. Before that, we'll do the same process. Go to the screen, and in the screen, you just change the color. So I like blue color. Whatever color you like, you can put here. Now after that, I'll put the label. The first thing that I'll do is put the label. Okay, in the screen, I want all in the center and all from the top to bottom, right? Okay, go to the label property. In the label property, you just write the text. Here I am writing the text. Home automation. right? And let's say change the font size. Yeah, I'm changing the font size. You can see the home automation is coming here. You can do many things, right? Here we have properties, different properties are there. If you want to change the background, you can change it. So let's try it. Yeah, it look good. Okay. Now we have to put the buttons here. How many buttons? 8 buttons, right? So for that, you just go to the layout portion. Here we have a layout portion. If you can able to see layout, the same thing we'll do table. Okay, before that we have to make a gap between them. So we'll just drag and drop a label. We'll remove the text of the label and increase the height to 20%. Let's say 15%. Yeah, so this gap is there. After that, we'll go to the layout, drag and drop the table here. Now table is coming. How much a column we want? Column will be 2, but how many row? I want 4 rows. So 4 rows is coming. So that's all. 4 rows are coming here. Now after that, you put one by one buttons. So the first option is button. You put button. So the first button and the second button. Now what is this first button? This first button is for making the LED on. So I'll make it LED 1 on, right? So this is my button name, and the same I'll write here in the text, LED button on. And if you want to increase the font size, you can increase it like 18. You can do that. 18 is, yeah, 18 is good. You can change the color, background color. Let's say here it is green. Yeah, it look like good. You can make it bold. Yes, now it look good. LED 1 on. Go to text, another button, which is button 2. Just rename it LED 2, sorry, LED 1 off. So this is for off that particular LED. So I'm just putting this particular, the same thing here. If you want, you can give a different name. It doesn't matter. Why I'm doing that, I'll show you later on. So first of all, here we have to change the name. Then only we can know that if we'll put that, but if we'll click that button, so what it will do, right? So now the size, and let's say the color. So for the off, let's say we'll make it red. So green and red, it look good, right? So the same thing we'll do for another. So we have, again, you can see we have different buttons, right? So I'm putting those buttons. Okay, now come here in here button 1. Here what we want is LED 2 on. I'll make it bigger so that you can see it. Okay. Now the same thing we'll do with the text also. LED 2 on. Done. Then go to button 2 here. Rename it with LED 2 off. The same thing you can do here. LED 2 off. Right. And you change the size to 18, and background color you can make it red. Here for button, here we can make it what background color is green. Yeah, here it is, it should be bold, or should be bold, right? So the size, yes, size is smaller, so make it 18. It's a bigger size. Now we can make it, we can go to another button, rename it. So this is for 3, LED 3 on. Okay, the same thing we'll do with the text, LED 3 on. Yes. Now change the size, make it bold, change the color. The same thing that you'll do with the different buttons that you do the same thing here. LED 3 off right now. Okay. Yes. Now we can change the text, change the size, color, because it is off, make it red. Now the last two buttons are left. This is for button 4 is on. Okay. Now the text has to change to on. Yes. Here we have 18, and then it will be bold and green. And then the last button, we have to make it off, right? Make it okay. So LED 4, we are making it off. Okay. Font color has been changed, make it bold, and the color is red. So yeah, my application is ready with 8 buttons. Now we have to drag and drop the Firebase database. So again, you go to experimental, Firebase database, drag and drop into the screen. Because it is an invisible component, it will come here as an invisible component. You can go here, first text box, that is Firebase token, make it blank. Firebase bucket, make it blank. Here in the URL, what we have to write, you know that we just have created this home automation here. So you just have to copy paste the URL. That's all. Now the main thing is going to start, which is called blocks. Now come to the blocks. Now here, whatever logic we want to put, we have to put based on the buttons, right? So the first button is your on button, which is LED on button. So we'll click that, and it is saying that when LED 1 on. So what we have to do, right? So just take that and drag and drop here, LED 1 on. Then what we have to do? So we have to do for calling the Firebase. So here we have call Firebase stored value. So that we have to drag and drop here. Firebase stored value. And what is the tag here? We all know what is the tag here. The tag is S1, right? So we just go to the tag text. This is S1. And what value we have to store when we'll click 1? So on that, over there, we'll put the value 1. So just go to the math part. Here it is 0, you put it 1. Done. Now, after that, we'll go for another button, which is LED 1 off. Click it. So when LED 1 off, then what we have to do? The same thing we'll do. We have LED, we have Firebase database property here. The same thing when Firebase 1 is store data. So Firebase 1 dot stored value, the tag is we'll get from here in the text. The first option, dated. This is S1 only, right? This is S1 only. And what will store here? So this time, if we'll put it, if we'll click the off button, so we have to put it 0, right? So that we have to do. So this thing, what we do is, we'll just make it replica of this. So we have this button, on button, we'll make it, we'll do the same thing for LED 2 on, right? And this S1 will be changed to S2. The same thing will do for, I'll just make it copy paste, right? So this is for LED 2 off. This will be S2. Now the same thing you can do here. This is LED 3 on. It is, the tag is S3. Here it is LED 3 off, and make it to S3. Again for last one, This is for LED 4 on, make it S4 and just copy and paste this. This is LED 4 off, make it for S4. That's all. So what we have done here, we have made the logic for all the buttons, right? So when on button LED 1 will be clicked, then what we'll do? LED 1 off will be clicked, then what we have to do? So all those things we have done. So what it will do is whenever we click, let's say LED 1 on, one value will be sent to here against S1. And here is S1, as I told you in the program, we have S1 which belongs to LED 1, S2 which belongs to LED 2. In that way it will go on. Okay, so let's go to this and build it. So go to the designer part again and build the first option, which is provide QR code for APK. So I'll just click it. Now it is going to generate a QR code. So you all, I think if you have done the first part, that is okay. This second part, if you want to install it, you can install. So you have QR code in front of you. This QR code will give you an APK. Now go to the APK, download it, and after that you can install in your system.
Teacher ne.
Now what I'll do is I'll connect this setup to my computer, and I'll just upload this program meanwhile. So the same program I'll just upload. Okay, so meanwhile it is going on, you can scan it and you can install in your mobile phone also. So in my mobile phone, that application has been installed. If you want to see, this is how has been installed. Okay, that you can do it. Now meanwhile it is uploading the values. Okay, let's see the Firebase. Yeah, the value is going there. Okay. Now we can use this. So I think many of you are already installed and using it. That's good. So you'll see I am just making it off, all are off. Okay, somebody has already making it on. Yes, so you all have this. I think most of you have already installed it. So make it off and on. It is in your control right now. So I am not using anything. See, I am not using anything. So this one is in your control. So it is you can on and off. So if I'll show you in a full screen. Let's see. So make it on. Any one of you make it on. Yes, very good. Yeah, all four lights are on right now. Make it off. You can do that. Yes, very good. So you can see that you can actually have a control of this device, and it is not over there locally, right? Make it on again. Very good. So all four LEDs are on. Make it off one by one. First, you off S1, the first one, only the first one. Very good. Now the second one. Now off the second one. Very good. Now off the third one. Very good. Now off the fourth one. Okay, one by one you will start. First S1 means the first LED. On the first LED. Any one of you? Yeah, very good. On the second LED. On the third LED. Okay, very good. On the fourth one. Very good. Now what I want is I want second and third could be off. First and fourth will be on. Very good. So this is how we can do that, right? So this is one example which is where the control is coming from the user side and going up to the wireless sensor network. And in the previous example, we have seen that how we can move from the controller side, means from the wireless sensor network side, and send the data up to the user. So in both the example, we have seen that how we can monitor anything if it is connected with the internet through the IoT, and how we can access anything through the IoT. So this is all about IoT and the role of IoT. Role of cloud in IoT. You can see that how these cloud is making all these things possible. Okay, so I am making it off right now. So all those LED, I'm making it off. Yes, it is off right now. Okay, so done. So this is how we can do that related to IoT. So I think everything is clear right